Hi, my name is Alejandro Perez, and this is the AI Coffee Podcast. Every week, we will have one episode regarding one disruptive aspect of technologies for the time to drink a cup of coffee. Today we have Khayala Fatulayeva, who is a colleague in the Master of AI for Group that I am part of, and she has a lot of insightful things to say about Azerbaijan, her country, and how the digitalization has been done in this country, quite a faraway region from Spain, but a quite important region also in the midterm from Europe, Asia, and many different important places. So thank you, Khayala, for being here. I will present you before you start talking, just for the people listening us. So she has a huge amount of different background and education, but just to consider the main thing, she studied a bachelor degree in management in the Academic of Public Administration under the President of Azerbaijan Republic. She also did 3 masters. Well, actually, you had already done 2, and you are studying the 3rd master degree, one in strategic management in Azerbaijan Technical University, another one in project management in the George Washington University, and as I said before, the AI for Gov Master in Universidad Politécnica de Madrid and the one in Milan. Regarding her experience, she has done several marketing roles in her life. She has been working for the marketing sector for more than 9 years, if I saw correctly in your LinkedIn account. But also, she has been working for 4 years as part of the head of digital communication in e-government development center in Azerbaijan. Now she's still working for the public administration, and she will tell us how is it working for the public sector and what's her things and her thoughts about working for this part of the public sector. So first of all, Khayala, welcome to the podcast. You have an impressive CV. The first question I might have for you, you can say whatever you want firstly, but also I have one question about how is it to work for the public sector and what motivates you to continue working for that, even you have just changed your job recently.
Yes, Alex, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to your podcast. It's really very impressive. I like your podcast and I listened to your previous interviews as well. And regarding your question, really joining the public sector after being just part of private corporates through the years, it really was a bit challenging because it's quite different atmosphere, different goals, and different achievements, different challenges. And for me, it's very important to, beside your day-to-day operation, also self-improvement and personal growth in your career, in your work, learning new things, discovering something new. It doesn't matter whether this is people, project, or just new working style, etc. But for me, it's very important because I think my passion, my idea, my creativity would die if there is no any new things, new challenge. And I think that I would say it's the innovation is very place where you can improve yourself and you can always learn new things. Because when you work in the sphere, this is the, how to say, you feel the ego of being complete, which drives you to learn new and discover. That's why I chose the innovation in public sector after work several years in corporate. So I think that e-government sector, innovation sector, it really works to work in this sphere. And in the end of the journey, you understand that you can't leave the sphere beside innovation and you would like to continue in something related. And in another hand, of course, this is the trendy improving industry in the whole world now. Yes, that is the case.
I get your passion for innovation and for challenges because I can imagine that working for public sector and innovation sometimes could be hard. So yeah, it is really demanding, but also it should be something really that you can get passion and energy from if you do it well. And looking at you and how you express your feelings about that, it feels so, yeah. Thank you for being here and expressing your passion about that. So the first question, Khayala, talking about, let's say, your country. And as I said before, Azerbaijan is like between different areas of, let's say, the main poles of digitalization in the world. It's a little bit between China, between also European Union, And sometimes when we talk about AI, for example, I think we have the focus on China, USA, or European Union. And sometimes we forget that there are also relevant competitors in the world as Azerbaijan. What do you think about that? Do you think that we need to also expand our point of view and go to have a look around and to see what other people do, just to also grow together as a society instead of just looking at the main and the big countries?
Yes, now it is the age of AI, and artificial intelligence is getting the every day by day is get to change the every aspect of our life. And today, all developed countries and developing countries like Azerbaijan, they all focus on AI and apply it for the better future. I think regarding the AI implementing in top countries, I think beside we usually say yes, China, USA, and EU countries, but I think that there are still some countries that we sometimes miss, but we can really benefit from their experience. It's like India, for example. It is like South Korea, Russia, maybe Japan and Singapore. For example, India is really very impressive because they are very successful, I think, especially in the field of software and implementation. And that I know in Silicon Valley, in California, and as you know, this is the home to lots of very famous startups and global technology companies. So there are approximately 30% of startups are managed by Indians, and they really invest very considerable amount of money to the field of artificial intelligence. And also, I think in India is the country where lots of foreign investments from AI companies. It's very impressive. And recently, I read an article about the Indian guy. He's a student, by the way, and he developed software where he find a solution so to identify fake news. I think it is a new feature for the news reporting industry, I think. And also another countries like Japan, for example, Japan is the country where the literacy rate of the population is about 95%. Of course, in this case, they will do the best things also from the BI perspective point of view. And Japan is the most developed country in Asia, and its education system is the perfect. And as you know, Japan is the country where the population is getting aged. I have heard that in Japan, the government supports AI and government plans to develop AI and fully integrate it to different industry until 2030. And Japanese government wants AI and robotics everywhere. They want really to replace the human, robots to replace the human. And yes, there are lots of countries that really we could benefit as developing countries, as Azerbaijan as well. Azerbaijan is also doing its best by applying different techniques of AI, especially to public industry. And recently, we are going as a country to adapt new AI strategy. A group of people at the moment, they are working on this strategy. I hope soon there will be a very good AI strategy that will arrive in Azerbaijan as well.
Yeah, that was my second question actually. What about a digital national agenda in Azerbaijan? Because I share with you that I read an article written by the OECD talking about the digitalization in different countries. And for example, talking about Azerbaijan, they were saying that the improvement was really high from the last years, but still one thing that lacked in the country was this digital national agenda or digital act or something like that that you were just mentioned. Like it's something really important to find a complete way to implement digitalization and in particular AI in many different aspects on the public sector and also in corporate. Well, to talk about Japan, for example, and that's one example of country that has taken everything as a whole, the private and the public sector, and implemented AI in everything and most of the fields around. So talking about Azerbaijan, which kind of things do you think that could be improved or that are going to be improved in the next year so that you are like the perfect competitor in AI?
Yes, actually, for AI application, we all know that there should be digitalization at first. And Azerbaijan is really doing its best to go along with global digitalization trend now. And a lot of work have been done during these years, really. Like Lots of public services have been digitalized, and digital platforms and different digital platforms have been created, and they are at the disposal of citizens. And local information exchange system has been generated. It is local. It is not third party. It is big achievement via government organization. They are able to transfer their, let's say, their data to each other and in more stable and more secure way. And also there are lots of digital projects in GTG, GTB, and GTC sector. And actually, there are lots of the list of work done in digitalization is quite big, and I'm not intended to list all them down now. But still, there are lots of things to be done, yes, in Azerbaijan. Also, a digital national agenda of, is also coming for Azerbaijan. As I know, it is work with a World Bank, and they are currently working on it. I think this year it will be declared. Actually, there are still, as I told before, there are still lots of things to be done in the digitalization of Azerbaijan. Like, for example, digital literacy is very important. And I would say there is a huge gap in Azerbaijan, like between cities and regions. And although lots of digital literacy programs have been applied, which I also have been part of it, but still there are some fundamental challenges in regions that should be solved first. This is like infrastructure. For example, wireless internet provision should be everywhere in every village, every region, and its cost should be very affordable for everyone. And I know that Azerbaijan, as a country, plans to provide the whole country soon, till the end of next year, the fiber optic lines, and it means that the whole country will be provided with high-speed internet very soon. It's very good news. And also digital devices. I mean, not only smartphones, but computers, laptops, they should be in every house, and they should be affordable for everyone to buy, because we are in digital age, and today's education you cannot imagine without internet or computer. Also, services, process flows should be simplified in order to be able to digitalize them. Digital usability should be improved. Why I tell this? Because I worked in government sector, and I seen the whole challenge that is in our country, and what we really need to do to make the real digitalization happen. And Azerbaijan still, there are some entities, there are some public entities, their archive, it's not electronized, data is still in papers, documents. And of course, in this case, not any digital service can be even a topic of discussion, yes. Also, the data should be transferred to online system, data cleaning should be applied. Without this, no any online service can be provided for those entities. And I also want to mention legislation as a challenge, because as you know, always legislation is behind the technology and innovation, especially in developing countries. And the legislation should be in the same way, I think, with the technology, in order to let the digitalization happen. And also public should support the digitalization of SMEs, I think. And there are, vulnerable groups should be analyzed, and the inclusiveness should be high level, user experience should be improved. And the one thing that we are really good in the last years, that is personal policy in digitalization. And now some projects are being applied regarding the personal policy, because there was a time we really had very problems to find technical engineers. But now I think Azerbaijan is going to prepare to bring up new digital skilled and technical people, technical engineers, in order to make the digitalization happen. And in the future, I think this will give a good result.
Yeah, everything you said is quite promising, because you have many different things you can continue growing and developing, and all of them are quite important. But what I like it the most is that the idea that you stand that digitalization cannot be done only for a few people. It should be done for the whole country. So for SMEs, for all the citizens, no matter if they are in a city or they're in the countryside. So that's quite important. Yeah, because we usually have the idea of growing and growing, and sometimes many people are behind, and they're like sometimes different velocities of how digitalization is implemented. So It sounds quite a promising idea that you have. Yeah. During the master lessons that we have every week, I remember that you sometimes mention something about the visas, for example, and how the public sector in Azerbaijan has made easier the way tourists, for example, can take a visa for visiting your country. So can you say a couple of words about this example and maybe more that you might have and interesting use cases that you have seen already happening in your country?
Yeah, Alex, I do remember that user case I mentioned. Actually, this was our data team in the governance. They had some AI solutions applied to public services. You just mentioned one of them, which is called Sentimental Analysis. In Azerbaijan, data team of our entity, they applied to our e-visa data. But first of all, I just want to give a brief information to the listeners. So what is the sentiment analysis? So as you know, this is a AI technique, and this is natural language processing technique, and then which is applied to determine whether the data is positive, neutral, or negative. And it is usually applied to text data, and it can help in several spheres, like getting customer feedbacks and monitoring your business, and it can also help you to make good decisions based on this analysis, etc. And we applied it, yes, e-visa data. But I also want to talk a bit on visa system of Azerbaijan, if we have time, of course, Alex.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, a little bit about the visa system of Azerbaijan, because I'm sure that this information will be very precious to listeners. In Azerbaijan, the visa procedure is completely digitalized, and the system is called Asan Visa, where Asan means easy. And once you want to visit Azerbaijan, you need just to open the platform, which is evisa.gov.as, and apply online in just 3 steps. And you don't need to go anywhere physically or get a line queue in advance to introduce the documents or to be interviewed, etc., etc. So no bureaucracy. And other thing that you need to do is to open the platform and apply the online. First, you just upload your documents, then you pay the online, and the end you just get your visa to your email. There are the standard visas, and you get the answer back in 3 days, and there are also urgent visas that you can pay extra and get in 3 hours in even. So whenever you want to travel to Azerbaijan, just keep in mind that the process of getting visa is very easy and digitalized fully. And now back to our AI technique, like that we call sentiment analysis. We have very big data of tourists. What we do, we generate a story with the questions which we are really interested in getting feedback from the tourists. And this survey actually also can be generated with other related public entities. And the survey usually about the questions usually about the public transport, hospitality, tourist facilities, food, either restaurants, price, etc., etc. So whenever we are really interested to get feedback, we can put. And we send the survey to tourists that already left the company. We send to the email address, and I would say, they usually reply to this email, and the open and engaged rate of these emails are quite high. This is, I think, because once they got the official letter from official e-visa center of the country, that's why they open and they really get feedback and answer the questions. And when they reply to questions, they also write some comments and their suggestions and blank spaces that they left on this papers. And in the back also, we are getting data, which is good for different analysis. And in this case, we apply the sentiment analysis. We apply machine learning sentiment analysis to this data, and we get results. We can get result by the country or in general. For example, a tourist from Great Britain comments on the specific directions and tell us what really they would like to see, and they suggest. In several times worked on data from countries like Britain, like France, USA, Germany, and etc. And I can give example that the last sentiment analysis of the tourists was who were visited Azerbaijan. we got 68% positive comments and 17% neutral and 15% negative comments. But this range is general, considering the data of all countries. But sometimes it can vary from country to country. And positive comments usually was about the people. And Azerbaijan people are really hospitable and they like guests, tourists. And positive comments was about people, hospitality, the city itself. And negative was from the taxi, from the public transport and drivers, and some price increases, etc. And what actually we know with results, we have an experience of sending these results to related public entities. And so that they can work, they can be aware of these gaps in the country, and they can work on this and develop and find solution, develop, make better impact for future. From this perspective, this application really is a good example to make a better future, AI application for the better future.
Yes, I agree that it's really important to have these data-driven companies, or even in this case, public sector, because now with this information that you have, you can say, okay, let's improve roads, or let's improve, I don't know, taxi education or whatever, I don't know. But this feedback is really, really helpful. And also considering, you said, the negative answers that you got, I can imagine also that maybe these answers are biased. Because, for example, it happened for me, for example, in Google Maps, something really common that I usually, I don't know, note some numbers or stars to a restaurant, for example, I have been to. I usually put the results where I don't like it at all or I like it very much. Like it should be really, really something like to say, okay, let's rank it because it is really something important, But I can imagine that also many people who have had a really, I don't know, bad situation only maybe once, they say, yes, I need to do this feedback. Yeah, it was horrible, this thing in particular. But of course, the whole picture is really useful. And yeah, you can obtain also these really valuable insights from people, I think. So, and also something interesting is that there are not really heavy implementations on that. It's not like you have done, I don't know, a server with thousands of things on it. It's only just a survey and you are obtaining data from people. And then you have done a machine learning model just to extract information from this survey. But
yeah, definitely. But the impact is very big. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, it's not like super big programs with thousands of millions of dollars and euros spending on
Yes,
that.
definitely.
And it's really, really important, the result that you have. So yeah, congratulations for the part you have been part of and also for the rest of your colleagues and people working on that. Yeah, it's
This
really,
is a thank
really
you.
great. If someone is listening to this, wants to go to Azerbaijan, this person is going to probably remember this conversation. And of course, I realized that, I mean, visas sometimes are really horrible to get. And having the information that you can obtain a visa in 3 days online only by uploading some documents and you receive it by mail, wow, it's such an amazing improvement. So yeah.
Yeah, Alex, and I would like to say that Azerbaijan visa system has won lots of prizes for being such a good and simple system, fully digitalized. I really won some global awards.
Wow, great to know. Yeah. Okay, so we are almost finishing, Khayala. It has been really a valuable conversation. Is there anything you want to add before we finish?
I would like to talk, Alex, about the AI use cases in Azerbaijan, other use cases that I would like to mention. There are several other AI techniques that we apply in public services. One of these is face recognition to our digital system. Actually, in Azerbaijan, we have a digital login system, which is called Asan Login. Asan is also means now Asan visa, Asan login. Asan means everywhere easy in Azerbaijani language. And Asan login is the single sign-on system which provides some version of digital access to citizens. And once you log in this system, you automatically log into all the platforms, all other systems of public entities. So you don't need to register it in every portal in different government entities. You don't need to have lots of usernames, passwords for different platforms. Once you have Asal login account, and you can get e-services everywhere. And we applied the AI to Asal login system. This solution was applied in video registration, where the citizen to the system and choose video registration. And the citizen opens the camera and answers some questions and also shows the ID card to the video. And the AI face recognition solution is applied here, and where the system recognizes your facial features and match them with your ID card photo, which is already in the system. And if there is more match than 80%, so the system recognizes you and let you in. And you can then apply to any government service that you need. Another use case was a Sunbot, and this is chatbot really that helps citizens for getting information on public services. And this chatbot was very useful into the pandemic period, where people got lots of information regarding the public services. And how it works, for example, you want to change your ID card, and you ask the question that I want to change my ID card, and it gives you another question. For example, whether you want to update it or you want the new one. The questions guide you and you get finally the whole information that you need from A to Z. Which, for example, documents you need to supply and what is the service fee and which office you can go, which one is close to you, etc., etc. A whole type of questions you can answers to your questions you can get. And there are also another use cases like AI object detection and emotion detection and content generation that we really apply it in public services.
Well, when you mentioned this chatbot you have in Azerbaijan, I'm still waiting for something like that in Spain, for example, because sometimes it's really complex to find the exact office or public service that you need to go in to do one specific document or to ask for something. So having like a chatbot, it's something really simple also to implement, but something that goes really direct on the user. Of course, it's not going to solve everything and perfectly, but still, if it gives you a possibility to guide you to the public sectors that sometimes it's really big and complex, it's really helpful. Yeah, for example, this thing and all the others that you mentioned also, they are really helpful. So thank you for sharing them. Yeah.
Yes, and it's also cost saving, and beside the call centers that people work there, of course, for that purpose. So just a chatbot gives all the needed information to a citizen.
Yeah, that's fine, definitely. Okay, Khayala, 2 more questions to end the conversation. You know that I usually ask at the end of the interview to the guest, how do you like coffee? So how do you like coffee? And also, how can the audience contact you if they want to?
I like coffee creamy and a little milky and a bit sweet.
And with any biscuit maybe or a piece of cake?
No. I don't like many sweets and I don't eat sweets. But
Okay.
I like sweet only a bit in coffee because too dark coffee is not for me.
Okay.
Regarding me, everyone can find me in LinkedIn. So all information about me and my career, I think it is there. Also, I have the email address, so they can email me.
Okay.
And yeah.
I will put everything as part of the notes of the episode. So thank you. Thank you very much, Khayala. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you. And I wish this podcast be forever and to have many, many, many guests. And it is really informative for everyone in this community, AI community, and the citizens really want to hear something new. And it is a big job from your side, and I congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank you for the feedback, Khayala. I hope it's going to continue. Yes, that's my purpose. Yes. Thank you. Thanks for being here one more week. If you liked it, please subscribe to the podcast and to the newsletter in alejandroperezperez.com. Please share both with your friends and relatives, and don't forget to give me 5 stars in Apple Podcast and Spotify. See you next week. Bye bye.